His chances. Oh, brilliant goal! A brilliant goal! Remember the name, Wayne Rooney.
Pirlo, ancora Pirlo di tacco, tiro, gol! Grosso, gol di Grosso!
Andrea Pirlo will take, and it's volleyed, and it's in! A goal in 50 seconds from Milan. Oh, would you believe it? Paolo Maldini, the skipper, has scored it. Balotelli, Aguero! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.
All right, we're going.
Hey, here we go.
What's going on, guys? It's the Footy Fan Podcast. Andrew, Santo, and Joe.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Open that up there.
Yeah.
Because I was watching Goal Rush and I actually learned about it for the first time on Saturday. On DAZN, where you can have all the
DAZN.
games going.
DAZN.
On
It's called
DAZN.
DAZN.
Yeah, DAZN. Where you can actually go to the Goal Rush and it'll have the game playing and then they have all the other scores at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can see all the other scores happening. Then they'll have the little ticker come up saying a goal happened. So you got a glimpse of all the highlights of every game. The one thing was it was delayed, so when Alonso was lining up for his free kick, the little ticker came up saying Alonso scored. While I was watching the game before he actually scored the free kick, so I knew he scored that free kick.
Oh, that's kind of annoying though.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're watching Goal Rush, you're probably not watching it to watch the full game.
Yeah.
Maybe you're watching it to see when each goal is scored. But I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't even learn about that. So I got a glimpse of each thing. And that's where, I saw the Everton mistake with...
The Keane?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Oh,
yeah,
it
I
was
mean-
so bad. It was so sloppy.
What happened?
He just, he had the ball at the top of the 18 and tried to make 4 different decisions. It seemed like. He didn't know
Yeah.
what to do with the ball.
His own 18?
Yeah, he's on 18. He just
Oh.
gave it up. He had his other defensive partner there that he could have easily just passed it to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he tried to kick it up the field or something. I don't know. He screwed up pretty bad.
Yeah, he was looking
And
down
then
the
just
line
sent
and
the guy
looked
on a
back.
breakaway and scored.
Yeah.
To go down 1-0 in the first 10, 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, super
Whatever it was.
early. And it was a good finish. Probably didn't need to finish it that well. Because he
So
put it
necessary.
top corner on a breakaway. But that was, first game of the season. Still probably not an excuse, but
No.
what are you
Oh,
gonna
he's
do?
an experienced player. He's played at every level. Keane.
Yeah.
So he should know better. It's like if I was playing defense. I would get the ball at the back of my 18. I'd be so freaking scared of what to do. I'd
Yeah.
just probably give the ball up and they would score.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right?
That goal rushing that you saw, that's the same thing as NFL Red Zone for football.
Okay.
It's so sick. It's like another subscription you can get, but it's whenever a team has the ball inside 20 yards,
Yeah.
to the end zone, they just jump to that game. It's like live
Okay.
feeds. They'll say, oh, the Lions are at the 10-yard line. They'll jump to that game. And
Yeah.
they'll say, oh, the Green Bay Packers are 1st and 15 or something. They'll jump to that game so that you see
Yeah.
every single scoring play.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same vibe, but for soccer, that's pretty sweet because there's 6 games on at a time or something.
Yeah, especially opening weekend.
Yeah, there's always something going on.
And with all the goals that were happening, there was a point when that ticker was just going off. It's this team scored, this team scored. And it was just there was, I forget how many goals there were this weekend, but
There's a bunch.
It was a lot.
yeah, it was a lot.
Well,
and
there's 5.
7 today?
5 from the one game with United yesterday.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
so it was good. But it's tough to know or get a full sense of how a team is if you're only seeing the big moments in each game.
Right.
You're not getting a sense of their fluid play throughout the game,
Mhm.
and even Rodri comes to mind. He's not involved in a lot of major city chances as much as De Bruyne would be or Sterling. So if the only sense you get of watching City is goal rush, you're probably not going to see what a lot of other players do
No.
as much as you would.
It's definitely meant for the highlight reel generation.
Yeah.
I'd go watch a 20-minute highlight pack of another game. I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it was a 12-minute highlight pack from DAZN on West Ham and Newcastle.
Yeah.
I could care less, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
It was a good game. It finished 4-2 West Ham,
Yeah.
but was 12 minutes long, and they showed like every little scoring chance. They showed every like hard tackle or like every yellow card.
Yeah.
So you kind of like more feel than just like a 2-minute
Yeah.
highlight reel. Okay, here's a goal,
Yeah.
yellow card,
Yeah.
and you miss like the actual like essence of the game. You miss like if there's any animosity in the game or something.
Yeah.
Which I mean, for the casual fan, it's kind of quick to get your highlights out of it.
Yeah.
But like for us, like we love the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just like the solid play that's going on, right? And yeah, I gotta give a shout out to DAZN for the highlights because they're
That's awesome.
the best highlight things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
West Ham gonna make Champions League.
Who?
West Ham.
West Ham Champions League? What?
I feel like
Maybe.
they're talking about it for the last 2 years now. They're like,
Maybe Europa.
I don't know what's Chelsea, City, Man U, Liverpool, but you know who was talking about it? Steve Nicol on ESPN. Like, who knows Van Dijk and Gomez? Because they struggled last year
Yeah.
when they were out.
Oh yeah.
If they're
Well,
not,
Van Dijk's back now.
well, I mean, we'll see.
like
If,
how,
like, actual
how
Van
back
Dijk-
how
how
back
back-
is he?
you know,
Well, I mean, I feel like if like he's like their breadwinner, right? He's their captain of their team.
Yeah.
Henderson's usually captain, but I feel like a player like him, like you wouldn't risk him coming back just for the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Like obviously he's probably itching to get back. He's been gone for 4 or 5 months, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like obviously, and he missed obviously all Euro, which sucks.
Yeah.
But no, he's definitely itching to get back. But I feel like from their standpoint, they're not going to like rush him back
Yeah.
yeah,
because like his injury was torn Achilles or something like that, or is that what it was? Or I kind of forget ACL, like knee injury. Honestly, it was so long ago, I
have no
kind of
idea.
forget.
Yeah. I actually didn't even look into
I
it.
think because it was when he got injured against Everton.
Yeah,
Was it that
Derby,
game?
Yeah, I think it was.
What was it? Calf? It
I
was
don't
his
know.
lower leg.
It
or
was
something.
bad.
Yeah, I just knew he was injured, so I was like, well, that really sucks for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then like
Evidently, it really sucks.
yeah, it really sucks for
Oh
them.
my god, it's just downhill from there.
They
Eh?
barely got in this year because
No, I know. If they didn't have that resurgence last year, like the last, I don't know, 6-7 weeks, they probably wouldn't even made like Europa League. Man. They
Yeah.
were like probably going to finish 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I would. It might be a case like same thing with Arsenal. I would probably rather not make Europa League than you know what I mean.
Why?
Not have European football, like better chance. I think you have a better chance of making Champions League if you're like an Arsenal and you're not in Europa League, if that makes sense. And you'd rather
I see what
be
you
in
mean,
Champions League than be in like another competition. That's just my take.
Why? Just because you think it's like not as prestigious? Like,
Well, if you're Arsenal, like you're being judged, like, oh, are they going to make the top 4? And I think the Europa League is more of a distraction unless they think they can win it. If that makes sense.
yeah. But if they finish 7th, that's freaking terrible.
That is
like
that is
if they
that
don't
is
even
terrible.
make it, but if
But
they
it
try
is
and
good.
push for top 4, they don't even make top 5.
I know, but they have a better chance at top 4 without European football, obviously.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying that. Like
Yeah.
during the actual season.
Yeah. Yeah,
But honestly, the way, like I said, I don't think they're going to do it anyway.
I don't think so.
It's gonna
either.
be
yeah,
more
regardless
same.
of whether they have European
Regardless of
football or
whether
not,
they're
like,
Europa League or not, they're probably not going to qualify for Champions League anyway.
I'm not gonna say I'm pissed by that because like it's Arsenal. But
yeah, like I don't see them finishing above any of the like the big top 4, like let alone like any other of the teams that are really stepping up. Like if Tottenham, based on even today, I think Tottenham might still struggle to finish top 4, especially with Kane leaving.
Wait, Tottenham?
Tottenham.
I don't think so.
I kind of
You don't
thought
think so?
No.
4 or 5 for Tottenham. To be honest, you said Liverpool would be that last 4th spot for you. You said it earlier,
I don't.
but I think Tottenham could
If
actually
Van
get
Dijk
there.
and Gomez aren't like in the first 5 games, if I see that they're struggling, I don't think they will. If they basically have nothing if they don't have their solid defense, I would say.
They do build
So-
from the back a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Chelsea, I think and City, I think obviously are both going to finish in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
With Man U, I think they signed Jaden, or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah, Jane Sancho.
And I think that they're going to finish top 4 as well. And honestly, between Liverpool and Tottenham, if Van Dijk is healthy, I think and as long as like Alexander Arnold and Salah and Salah or what's his name? Mane.
Yeah, Mane.
Yeah. As long as they all play well, I think they'll finish top 4. So if I really see Tottenham struggling without Kane in the long run, because they're gonna have other competition they got to play in.
Yeah,
and I don't think they have a deep enough bench to actually perform long term.
Well, like in the game today, you saw like how like the first half and like almost the final third of Tottenham's like pressure on City was like really good.
Yeah,
like, they defended pretty well. City's gonna be City, right? They're gonna score, or they're gonna create chances against anybody. Yeah, depends like who they play. They could play the top team in Spain, top team in Germany, whatever. Yeah, they're gonna create chances. But Tottenham actually held them off pretty well. But they were missing like that like X factor up top. It was pretty prevalent. Yeah. But I was gonna text you guys like right when like Son scored. I was like, they need like some magic to happen. Like they need. Yeah. Like I could see Tottenham scoring that game. Like it was tight, obviously. Yeah. I could see them scoring, but it had to be like a sense of brilliance to like score. Like I didn't see them scoring like a tiki taka or something, or like or even like on a header. Like they don't have like the biggest of teams. Like City's like huge. Yeah. So like they had to score some like wicked goal. So when Son put it in, I was like, well, there it is. Yeah.
Well,
like,
that's true. To be honest, so to go back, my top 4 is probably City, Chelsea. Well, I think Chelsea's gonna win. Ooh. City, like Man U, and Tottenham, just because what Nuno did with Wolves. He has a way better team with Tottenham. Yeah. And I don't see, even if they don't have an X factor striker, like, Son, like no disrespect to Wolves striker, their number 9.
Jimenez?
Yeah. Like he crushed it for them. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Nuno can get the same thing out of Son. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Different kind of player though, because like Jimenez was like a Harry Kane's. He's not Harry Kane, but he's like a Harry Kane style player. Yeah. Or Son's just like, he's like a rover player. He's just like, he can just cover the entire field. So they are different in attack that way. Yeah. Like obviously if you add Harry Kane to your squad, you're going to be sick. Like you're going to be 10 times better. Him holding out this long with Tottenham though, like, I don't know. Like what's he waiting for? Like,
who knows, man?
I think he's healthy. He's not hurt.
No, he's probably just deciding where he wants to go.
Like, come on, man. Like, we're waiting on you.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what goes on in the back room? But back to what you were saying. I just wanted to touch on it with the Spurs. Like, it's very true. Like, you're not going to be able to have a moment of brilliance every game. No. And rely on a few people to score. That's the thing with the City and where Chelsea's getting to, where you can have a few players having a bad game. You're going to find a goal from someone else. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to create enough chances, every game, so you have the opportunity to score. And I think Tottenham are going to struggle with that.
I totally agree.
Tendonga guy, he was really good. So I think in the back they're going to be pretty solid. I think they're just going to struggle, like scoring goals without Kane, or even creating chances. I think it might just be more of that, unless, like Joe said, what's his full name? What's the guy's full name?
Nuno Espirito Santo.
That guy. Yeah. If he can like transform things for them going
Nuno
forward.
For short.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll see. I think it's gonna be exciting for sure.
Mm-hmm. They didn't really do much either in the transfer market, like to buy players. Tottenham.
Well, they didn't, but I mean, it's tough to say anyone did anything in the transfer market with the transfer market PSG had this year.
Oh my god!
Why doesn't everyone have a transfer?
It was like Jack Grealish was like overshadowed by this whole thing.
Really was.
I mean, it wasn't obviously a big signing, but like
it was huge.
Not as big as Messi.
It was like
$100 million, but then like Messi for free to PSG is like
Messi.
Wait a second.
I mean, like that's the thing with that. Like, I was talking to my dad earlier. The whole financial fair play thing completely goes out the window when like City puts in a bid for Grealish for $100 million.
Yeah,
and they're talking Kane could be like 120 or something, or 140. It's like, where's that financial fair play in that? You're spending $240 million or pounds on 2 players.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. And like normally you do see PSG or Real Madrid doing that kind of stuff too. Yeah. And it drives me absolutely insane. Yeah. But this is the only season where like I actually can't be mad at PSG. You have to be mad at like the host clubs of those players that left.
Yeah.
Look what you just lost.
How
all your players.
Yeah. How is it like arguably the best player in the world leave your team for free?
And I mean Barca was in a rough spot with their whole financial situation, obviously. And like he said he was taking like half pay cut. PK came out the other day and said he's going to take like 3/4 of a pay cut, like what he normally makes, just so that they can afford to keep him. Yeah. So obviously, Barcelona is looked at as like a coveted club for like
Yeah.
tons of reasons. But I'd say in the last decade or so, they're like one of the worst run clubs.
Well,
in
that's
like all of Europe.
because I heard who is it? Aguero.
You just went there, yeah.
Yeah, and I think 3 other players, they're new signings. They're actually not registered yet with La Liga because they can't fit them in their wage bill.
Oh.
That's what I heard.
So there's
So,
like in limbo.
but I'm
Aguero
confused. How do you get in
Imagine
that
that.
situation? Like, how do you get in that situation? I'm
think
super confused. Like, don't you have I don't know, Excel spreadsheet of, like your wage bill?
yeah, you would
Your
would think,
account,
yeah.
your account never heard this
And-
if he pumped with Joe. This kid from Canada. But no, it's true.
Well, if
It's
you're
true.
we're gonna spend X amount on Aguero and we're gonna pay this much, but Messi's whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I know they asked a bunch of players to take wage cuts, but maybe that was they thought more people would. Because I heard who's at MTT or who's
Yeah, the defender.
and
Yeah.
he didn't take one, so I don't know if they were just banking on players taking wage cuts or what it was, but that's like kind of a
like
a
made
rough
signings.
situation.
You put a lot
Made
of
a ton of
loyalty.
signings.
Yeah, you put a lot
You
of
lost
loyalty
Messi,
in
but
your
you
players.
can't afford it. It just seems like a lot of
Yeah, like I said, they've just been really poorly run and managed. I think the last decade. I mean, and it's no one's fault but their own. Like,
Yeah.
it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's like it goes to show, like, even if you have all the money in the world, or you appear to have all the money in the world, you can buy whoever you want.
Yeah.
It's still gonna backfire you on somehow.
Yeah.
Like, look at Real Madrid; they haven't won the league in a couple of years. So it's like they have all this money, all these players, and they still can't win the league. Same with Barca. What did they just win last year?
who won last year.
Atletico? won?
Atletico?
I was
Did
pretty sure it was
Atletico?
Atletico.
I'm not really brushed up on my La Liga, but I just
No,
know
neither
like
am
they
I.
haven't had like the dominance, even going back to like Champions League. It's been a few years since they've been in Champions League final,
Yeah.
and like we always expect them to be there, or at least Barca or Real Madrid.
Yeah.
They're expected to be there. They're expected to win by, X amount of points every season. But like it's getting more balanced in La Liga because I think these guys are just screwing up the books,
Yeah.
and it just goes to show. Like I was talking to a friend a while ago. And we were talking about how it doesn't matter if you have the best players in the world. It's all about how they play together and team chemistry,
Yeah.
and like what manager you have to deal with the players. Because a lot of the times when you have those high profile players, the manager doesn't have to be the best tactical manager. He has to be able to control your ego and control like the player's mentality in the locker room,
Yeah.
and like know when to speak up, know when to discipline a player, know when to encourage a player that's like younger or whatever.
Yeah.
Some mentoring stuff with older players, all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of manager you need for some of these clubs, and like I don't know if Zidane was that with Madrid. I don't know, but it just goes to show like if you have all the money, you buy Ronaldo, buy Messi, buy Higuain, buy Dybala, whoever, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean shit
Yeah.
if you can't keep them together and like
Yeah.
actually know how to play as a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and that's why it's gonna be interesting to see how PSG does, because evidently on paper they got
Stacked.
a stacked team. I mean, I do still think if I were to match them up against City, I would still take City over them, just because of Pep.
Yeah, Pep's the X factor.
And how he would manage his team and manage the whole game.
Well, I mean, Puch, didn't he beat Guardiola in Champions League?
With
Tottenham. I mean,
These players.
so it could be.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Here
I
we go.
would.
That's 5.
I don't know if I would take City.
Looking at the
I haven't
PSG
seen-
signings of this year, 5 free signings: Messi, Sergio Ramos, Donnarumma, which is like just insane that he signed for free.
Yeah.
Ronaldo and Hakimi from Inter.
Yeah.
They're paying a shit ton of wages.
Those
Like,
shirts. Just for
I know.
that Puch. That's so funny.
but they're paying like I don't know everyone's wages, but I think Messi's between like 30 and 40 million a season
Yeah.
just for like his salary.
Yeah.
So obviously they're still paying a ton, but I mean they're not paying the 200 million transfer fee that he'd be garnering. Donnarumma could have easily been like 80 mil. If Kepa was 65 mil for Chelsea,
I think Donnarumma.
Donnarumma was 6 billion.
Donnarumma would have been.
Donnarumma was a
Who
lot
knows?
more.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I hope, in some run in Champions League, we get to see PSG play either Chelsea or City. I think that would be a really good matchup.
I'd be scared if it was Chelsea.
Well, yeah, I mean,
obviously. But like,
I'd be scared against Messi too.
just crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope they like, especially if you're a PSG fan. I think it's gonna be really good to see if they actually turn into a team with that kind of cohesiveness. Because obviously, like you said, when you run the risk of making all these massive signings, you got all these guys on this team, and it doesn't even feel like they're an actual team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, let's see how they play together first game. See how it works. They're gonna stomp somebody like 8-0. I swear to God. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna come out the first game 8-0. Like, just not even trying.
That's gonna be a telltale sign.
Well, who won League One last year? Was
Lille.
it Lille?
Lille, yeah.
Interesting.
Jonathan David. Yeah, Canadian.
Striker.
Yeah. Killed it for them. I think he was like top 5 scorer or something.
Yeah.
Like 20-something goals.
Nice.
The Canadian content's picking up, man.
Yeah.
The Alphonso Davies era is here. It's here to stay.
Yeah, we are still the worst first world country at soccer? Like,
yeah, I checked the stats. The FIFA World Ranking the other day. I think we're still like 65th. No, 59th, I think, or something.
Yeah.
But then I was like looking at the history of it, and like our top ranking ever is like 40th.
Yeah.
And that was in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that there's not like that much good talent coming out of Canada.
I know.
Yeah,
there
no
is.
one-
We just
I just don't understand.
I
I
mean,
don't know what it is.
there's some people that are bouncing around here and there, but like they're not like huge name players, right? Like we have Davies and David. Those are our two guys.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Osorio plays for TFC. He's been there for like forever. It seems
Well,
like.
I'm still because
But-
the MLS is actually really good now.
Yeah.
So I'm confused how you can't find like 25 good MLS Canadian players and get a squad together
Yeah.
that can qualify for the World Cup consistently.
Yeah, I
This
know.
is weird.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to it.
20 years ago maybe.
Yeah, 20 years ago, no way.
No way, but I don't understand. The MLS is very extremely competitive.
And we have the
And-
CPL too. I know the Canadian Premier League, same
Yeah.
kind of thing. A lot of that is homegrown talent,
Very
which is
strange.
which is nice. Like they're finally
Yeah.
promoting like some like grassroots what's it called? Teams and everything, and like they're like going to like small towns and small cities, and they're getting sponsored by like the clubs and all that. We kind of had that here with the TFC Academy, like the Windsor TFC. But I mean, it's a start. I wish we had that back then when we were playing like 12, 13 years old. That would have been kind of sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all over Canada on the CPL. Like they have teams on the East Coast, West Coast, all through the prairies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to Ottawa this week, I might try and go to the Ottawa. I forget their team name actually, but there's an Ottawa team and they're playing when I'm going up there. So
Oh, nice.
I might try and check that game out.
Yeah.
No, it's good to see. Finally, we actually have like something for players to strive to. Like not just like, okay, I got a university scholarship, which is great. Congratulations, university, college, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you're just done.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing to really go further unless you did go to Europe
Yeah.
or you got one in a million shot going to MLS.
Yeah.
So there's different avenues to go down now.
Yeah. Those are really our only hopes.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm assuming the CPL doesn't have a draft.
I don't think so. Not yet.
Okay.
They're not big
'Cause I
enough
think-
yet, I don't think.
The MLS has one.
They
don't
do, yeah.
I'm wondering.
They do, but
I've
it's
never
still-
watched it. Is it like college players? A lot of it.
Mainly, yeah.
So that's kind of thing. No other country does a college draft for
No, can you imagine that? Like,
If
So-
anything, they do a high school
so
draft.
maybe
Just go to
that's
high
where-
schools.
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
high
not even
school.
high school. The kid's like
Yeah.
8 years old.
Yeah. You're 14. We're gonna buy you and we're gonna own you till you turn
until you
16
die.
and We get them early, man. Like Barca's U8 team is way
Better than
beyond
me.
anything.
Well, have
have
you seen
here.
that video? Those YouTube videos or Facebook videos, whatever, of that super young kid. I forget his name. He's got long hair.
I've seen tons of different ones over the
What's his
years. There's
name?
always like
he does
kids-
gymnastics too. I think.
I don't
and he's
know.
in like the Barca Academy.
I think so. But that's what I mean. I forget. It doesn't really matter. But they said, oh, he signed with Barca or Liverpool, whatever it is. Like that's the difference. You find this kid with talent at 7 years old.
Yeah.
We're gonna put him in our academy. Where's the MLS? It's like, oh, they're good in college.
Yeah.
Let's draft them now. Whatever
Yeah.
it is.
No, it's way different, and like it's cool too because like at that young age you can kind of. It's weird, but you can like keep them in the system and like you can like help them grow with the team and like you build a culture around the kid. Like that's the thing that they talk about too a lot of the times in other sports like hockey culture or like basketball culture, football culture. in like North American sports. It's like basically how you act in the locker room, and like how just like your mentality is. If you're pulling a kid from from England, getting a guy from Italy, getting a guy from the States, and they put them all together, you might get lucky if they gel properly.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like what like Barca has done forever with their youth academy, and like United has done, and like Chelsea's kind of getting better at doing, if you can keep these homegrown kids like together since they're like 12 years old, like Mason Mount, Chalobah, Pulisic, they were all like youth academy players, so they just grew up together. Reece James got in there too with the full squad now for Chelsea. So like that's sick. If you can do that, because then you have the whole culture of Chelsea like in the back of their mind, like and they strive to be just like the greats of the team. Barca is famous for that. Like I love to see it. I mean, it's obviously really hard because then you put players on loan, and they could just like disappear sometimes.
No,
but it's I love it.
It's like the golden era for Man U when you look at that one U squad they had where it had everyone. You had Beckham, Scholes,
90s there.
Like all of them just came up in the system, played together, went to the first team, and played for forever and just won everything. And will probably go down as the best team in Manchester's history. Plus, signing Ronaldo helped a lot. So you had all these guys come through the system, sign awesome team, and then you have Sir Alex Ferguson, which legendary coach, and you sign Ronaldo. So it was just like a perfect recipe to be one of the best teams ever.
I like when he came into the league, it was such like the ideal pin perfect time for a player like him. Like that was like great. Like that's like during like the break of like YouTube. Like that's how long ago it was. Like the YouTube era was like just starting. And it's just like every new day that you go on YouTube or something, it's like Ronaldo video, Ronaldo highlight, Ronaldo compilation. It's like he just blew up from the start. Like I didn't really know who he was when he signed with United. And then I just saw like he was playing for was it Lisbon? Sporting Lisbon? He starts actually going in and like look at his highlights from that, and I'm just like, who the hell is this guy? Because like we never saw players like that. Like when we were first like starting to get into soccer.
It was all just like your
4-4-2.
Like just your like super standard structured like thing. You never saw anything like that.
And like even back in the day too, like in the early 2000s, it was tough for us to even like watch these players because like we didn't have like satellite or like cable TV that like broadcast like Ronaldo playing for like Inter or like Real Madrid. Like way before like Cristiano Ronaldo, like the Brazilian Ronaldo or like Ronaldinho. It's like we've seen this guy a couple times a year because it's like we barely get any coverage. But then again, like when Ronaldo came in for United, it was like again like the peak, like social media was kind of beginning to start a little bit, like Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And then it was just like YouTube, Twitter, cable deals, like streaming, Ronaldo. It was like the perfect storm of him coming in, and it just blew up to what it is now. Same with Messi too, obviously. But it just goes to show too, like you could be as good as a team as United have been, like since the 90s. Like they were just unstoppable in the Premier League, right? And then as soon as they get Ronaldo, it just puts them over the edge to just like you can't beat
all
these
the
guys.
glory.
You can't beat these guys.
All the glory. And that's why I liked where Sir Alex Ferguson just had those standards. Like he would lose a game early in the season, and I just remember him saying like, "Yeah, we lost one, can't lose another one." And I'm sure, like obviously,
can't let it happen again.
Coaches will say that now, but I feel like he was one of those managers where it's like, it got him on another level, right? And he just like makes sure and does like whatever it is that he does, and just gets it where they go a whole season with 1 loss, 2 ties, and 35 wins.
Yeah, it's gross.
And they win the Premier League, and then they win Champions League.
That was like his standard.
Yeah,
like that's what you expected.
Like he just wanted to go unbeaten every season.
Do you think like a manager like that? Obviously, he expects greatness from you, and he expects perfection almost. But like, do you think that would hurt players at times too? Like,
I think it would hurt players
maybe?
that wouldn't like. I don't want to say. It would hurt the players that wouldn't mesh well with the rest of the team. I think he obviously with him. I think because he was there for so long, he had so much respect for everyone, and everyone was bought in. So it kind of forced people to buy into the culture, and if it got to some players and it like hurt them, then they probably just weren't a good fit for the culture versus being something necessarily against how Sir Alex Ferguson runs the
Yeah.
team, if that makes sense.
I just feel like too, like it depends on like what, kind of like what you're saying. It depends on the player's mentality. Like a young kid that's like, I don't know, 20 years old, who's like the best kid in his like town wherever he's coming from, goes to United and expects to like be a big shot, and then you have Sir Alex Ferguson saying like, okay, you're not playing until I see that you're ready to play.
Yeah.
And he gets on the bench for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, that would piss me off so much. That would stunt my growth, I feel like, as a player, you know?
Well, I mean, especially with that kind of culture, with his expectations, maybe that's what's necessary. And he's like, you know, you have to prove to like the club that you're.
I get that.
That you have to play. You know what I mean? And if that gets to you, then you might not be a good fit. Might not say anything about who you are as a player, but like might just not be a good fit for Man U.
What a hard team to break into. And like that's what a hard team to break into. And like it's in like the 2000s like that, or like late 90s.
Mm-hmm. But
you had to be so good.
To be fair to coaches now, there was a lot less competitive back then. When they had their golden era. Like there was, you know, you had your top teams, and everyone else wasn't quite at the level that they needed to be at. And now you have like the rise of the mid-table, where you have all these other teams stepping up, and you know,
before it was always Man U, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool consistently. Now it's, you know, Leicester, Tottenham, money that came City, West Ham, you know, Wolves too. You know, so you have what 9, 10 like solid teams.
Yeah,
you know?
About that. Yeah, it's pretty split, like 10-10 usually. like the separation between like 8th and like 12th is so pretty drastic. Yeah, like the points might not show it, but like, you know, from like watching the games, like maybe the 8th place team might have had like just a bad run or something in a few weeks or a few months. Yeah, but like, you know, like I think Arsenal finished like 7th last year or something. Yeah, or
something like
7th or 8th. I can't remember.
Pretty down there.
But it's like, as much as I hate to say, like Arsenal is better than that. Like they should not be finishing 8th place. Yeah, but yeah, it's quality like through and throughout of the league, and I love it because it's like you can turn on any game and just watch an entertaining match. Like it doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, like if you put on like a game of like from La Liga and it's like the 2 last place games, it's like, okay, or last place teams. It might finish like 0-0. It'd be like the most boring game of all time. You put on Burnley and Newcastle, and you got like a 6-5 like thriller. Like it's super entertaining.
Yeah, and I do like obviously because I watch the EPL more than anything else, and I do hear about all the things they do to try and make it more entertaining while still obviously protecting the integrity of the game. Yeah, where this year they talked about how there's kind of that new leniency that refs are implementing. I don't know if you guys heard about that, where they're allowing more physical contact than they previously would. I think I still have to look into like what the actual details of it are, but like if you look back to last season when, you know, you have players, you know, it'd be like a heavy shoulder to shoulder challenge or like some heavy contact, and it would usually get called. I think they're gonna let more of that go now to let the game flow. So I think they were referencing the Burnley game, was it on Saturday? Yeah, where it was like fairly entertaining. I think there were a few goals, but they said how like there were a lot of challenges where, you know, last year, you know, you'd get fouls, but this year it's like, no, like players just have to get up and get on with the game, and it's letting the game flow more. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, that game against Brighton.
Yeah.
It's a game like that, Burnley and Brighton. Like that'd be fun to watch.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it, but it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, and Burnley scored first, and I'm pretty sure they scored first, and then Brighton came back and won. Scored in the second minute.
Where is it?
And yeah, I think it's just allowing for more free flowing play, and you know, kind of just making it a tougher game. Really, like obviously, if you have your regular fouls, you can't just go and check someone from behind.
No.
But yeah, it was a new thing I heard them talking about, which I liked because no one likes a stop and start style game, right?
Yeah, it just kills, like you said, it kills the entire flow of the game, and it's like, come on, man. And like, we've all done it.
Yeah,
some more than others.
Yeah,
but like, you go down for the foul, and like, it's all circumstantial, like when you do it, right? Like, it depends, like if it's necessary or not.
Yeah.
But like when it's happening every single play, like Jack Grealish, for example, like he goes down like every time he's touched. Like he was the most fouled player last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like literally like, on record, like probably of all time, like most fouled player. He just dove, fouled, fell, whatever.
But like he invites a tackle, right? So like,
yeah, he does. He puts himself in the situations to draw the fouls.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a couple of times where it's like he just like he cut between a player and just fell.
Yeah.
And he gets the call, and it's like it's complete bullshit. Like if VAR actually wanted to make a stink about it,
Yeah.
they could have gave him like way more yellow cards than they ever issued out for what's it called? Simulation.
Yeah.
For simulating a foul or whatever. I mean, I'm happy that obviously they let more go now, but
yeah,
I don't want it to be getting stupid out there.
No, and I think that's what they want to stop. They want to stop those fouls where it's like you kind of have to give it because like there was contact
and they went down
and the guy went down and like it stopped the play. And I think that's what they want to get away from, where it's like those kind of softer fouls where players will fall, but like it was only like minuscule contact or even like maybe a little bit more contact, but it's just to stop all those like really small fouls.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to get the things that are actually, stopping a player
actually worth it,
and you're doing something that's not allowed in the game, not like you're trying to like stick a tackle and like maybe there's a little more contact, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see how that kind of progresses. Yeah, and the new stats.
Well, I saw this.
What is that
on the
again?
Tottenham City game?
They have two. They have the win probability stat, and they got the other one. Well, it had like a bar, and it was I forget. It was where they like analyzed the win percentage. They'll have the win percentage come up.
That's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So what was what's the first one?
Well, it's win probability and I forget the last one, but the win probability one does
is it dynamic throughout the game?
Well, it does. Like
there's one that I kept seeing that was like win chance percentage or something like that, like percentage of winning the game.
Yeah.
It was two different ones.
What is that?
I just saw it. I can't believe I forget what it is. But for one, the win probability one, like I like it and I don't like it just because it's like analyzing the flow of the game, who's gonna win, but it really doesn't mean a whole lot because like soccer can change in an instant. So it's like it's not like that percentage is gonna change gradually. Like one moment of magic from a player just changes that on its head. So I get how they're showing it in the moment, but like really, it takes
average formation.
Really,
it's Oracle. So I think tracker. Oracle is the sponsor that does the Golden State Warriors. It's like like a data delivering like technology kind of business. And it says new insights include average formation, live win probability, and momentum tracker.
That was the other one.
What?
How do you?
Momentum for the game.
Yeah,
it can swing like live feed of like it's swinging left or right.
Yeah, so like when in the first 20 minutes or so of the Man City game, I had the momentum tracker come up and it had like City at I think like 70 something. Like they had most of the momentum and like were the most likely team to score. And like that, so it's
and then
that's ridiculous.
They're cool. They're cool to have up there. I just don't think like the fact that it's a number doesn't really mean a whole lot. Like City has the momentum, yes, but like it doesn't really matter what percentage of momentum they have. I guess now saying that, I guess it could, but like either you're on the front foot, but you're still exposed and you can get scored on, and all of a sudden it changes in a second, right? It's not like.
Okay, we got to read this for a second here. Okay, so under the agreement, Oracle will develop machine learning models to generate immediate insights based on live data streams, real-time tracking data, and facts collected on each Premier League player from thousands of previous matches. Among the new match insights, Oracle will provide is average formation, which will track the positions of all players and when their team is in and out of possession to highlight how each side is organizing itself when attacking and defending, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Meanwhile, the live win probability statistic will calculate the chance of a team securing a win or draw by simulating the remainder of the game 100,000 times. What? Finally, the momentum tracker will measure the likelihood of the team in possession scoring a goal in the next 10 seconds. This statistic will similarly be generated using data from thousands of historical games in the last 5 events in the current possession. We're getting way too caught up in analytics and data.
Like,
crazy.
that doesn't really mean like.
Could you
don't
imagine?
watch? You don't watch. You don't want like a stat. That's
No.
Like what? Like who? In one sense, it's like who really cares that based on the 1,000 past games that the team has a 70% chance of scoring in the next 10 minutes. Like, are they actually going to score in the 10 minutes? Or like either they're not or they will.
That's okay.
So
I gotta talk about this. How can you put a probability on who's gonna win a game in like the 20th minute? Like I saw today on the Tottenham game. The Spurs go up. What was the second half they scored?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I forget what minute second half. But that stat came on and it was like 42% chance of a win, and like City had like a 12% chance.
Yeah, and the rest was a draw.
And the rest is a draw. How are you giving City like less than 15% chance of winning a game? They could score 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they're that good.
Yeah.
Even a team that's like a bum team, like I don't know. I don't want to be insulting to any teams, but like a team like Brighton. Brighton's like a bottom feeder team, or even like
Brentford.
Brentford. Okay, yeah, Brentford scored 2
But
goals.
that's the
against
thing.
Arsenal.
That's the interesting thing
no one saw
about.
that
And I was
coming.
going to touch on this. Most teams that get promoted crush it.
They do good.
Crush
in
it.
Their first season.
So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, Brentford goes down 1-0 against Spurs. But I don't know how much this takes into account like the grit of teams that just got promoted
Because
that
they're
want to
playing
like
with
crush
house
it.
money.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like they don't care.
So
if
a
they
team
win or
like
lose,
Brentford
to
could
be honest.
easily, hey, we're promoted. Let's show these guys, what we got.
Yeah.
What like Leeds last year crushed it.
Yeah.
So
Watford came back this year, got their first win this year too.
Yeah.
I mean, good point, Joe. It's like these teams that get promoted, like I said, there's no fear in them because it's like they're back in the Premier League or they're in the Premier League for the first time.
Yeah.
In however long, they have no fear.
Yeah.
Like they don't care if they win a game 1-0, if they lose a game 3-0, whatever. They're going to put their heart and soul into the game. So yeah.
Which wasn't the case really, because it's saying 100,000 times, or how many past games were they
simulate
whatever
the
it is
remainder of the game 100,000 times based on like whenever the probability probably swings.
Right.
On
Interesting.
4 years of match data.
4 years of match data.
Well, look at the game yesterday, the United game. They went up 1-0, and then at halftime, right 2 minutes after half, it was 1-1.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the stat said at that point, but it could have been like obviously like a 50-50 chance of like whoever's going to win this game, and then United scored like 3 goals.
Well, that's what's
in the
going
next 10 minutes of the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like piloting this. That's the word. And then they'll see, how accurate are these win probabilities.
Yeah. Like I wonder if they put this in FIFA or something as like a like a test run.
Yeah.
Put it in FIFA and see
curious.
if it actually kicks off in that.
How often are those things correct? Because obviously they can't keep it like, the win percentage is 42-12. It's, every time we have this swing, it's always,
well, they got to take the momentum into factor too.
It's very, very, it's a lot of that. I've never seen this in any other sport.
Yeah.
They do it in F1, actually. They do like probability of an overtake. So they do it like, let's say they have, let's say Lando Norris is in like 4th place and Verstappen's like coming behind him. Like let's say Verstappen's like 8 seconds away.
Yeah.
They can say like predicted overtake is like 8 laps away, and it'll be this percentage of difficulty of him overtaking him. And they put that stat on all the time during the F1 races, and like it's wrong. Like,
which is interesting because F1 is super.
It might happen, but
F1 is, I
all
feel like
numbers,
a way more. It's way more numbers, and the environment's way more. Like I don't want to say control because obviously it's like a crazy sport.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's obviously way more variables in a soccer game than like an F1 track, which may or may not be true depending on. I don't know that much about F1.
But at least you have 2 cars, you have a certain width, you have so much runway, and you have the speeds of the cars, you have the driver's historical data, you have some, I guess, framework to work in. Whereas this, it's like
It's completely different.
Who knows?
You can
24
It's a team sport.
substitution.
Right? It's a team sport.
Yeah.
You take De Bruyne out of the match.
Yeah, or
Or
you
he
put
gets
De Bruyne
hurt.
in the match. All of a sudden, you have like 4 good chances to score in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's completely ridiculous. and to give credit to F1, it is a cool thing that they're trying to do with that. It's like because I think in Formula One with Drive to Survive coming out, it obviously got more like average fans or more like people who weren't interested in the sport got them more involved.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to like
Ease
it into seeing like, okay, this is like he can overtake in 8 laps. Like this is how he can do it. This is how hard it'll be. Like it gives you more like, insight.
Well, because I feel like
in
in F1, sometimes you'll be like, oh, this guy's behind Ferrari. And it's kind of good in that sense. Does this guy actually have a chance at overtaking them based on like the car or whatever it might be? Because sometimes you'll see like a Williams, no disrespect to Williams, coming up against Ferrari. Like, do they have a chance of overtaking a Ferrari? With all their data?
Yeah, and the average fan might not.
They might not know. It's
right?
Why isn't he passing them? It's like, well, if he knew, it's like, oh, it's a Williams car. It's not as well built as a Mercedes or a Ferrari or whatever it might be. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for an overtake. Then they would understand, oh, it's whatever, 12, 24%, whatever it might be.
And I said on that F1 stat they're wrong. They don't get it wrong every single time, but it's just like they'll say 6 laps and like 30% chance of failure. Or like they usually say like how easy it'll be. That's what it is. Like difficulty, like easy or hard.
Yeah.
And it'll actually take like 8 laps, and then he'll like be right behind the guy for like 2 full laps trying to pass him. It's like it doesn't show you how hard the guy's gonna fight, or like even if the cars are stacked differently, the driver can like still use his mentality of like where to be on the racetrack to like block you, to be faster in some certain zones, be slower in zones to slow you down and everything. So it doesn't go based on just strictly car performance.
Yeah.
But I just think it's kind of funny because like they started putting out last year and I was like, car overtake probability. I'm like, he's gonna pass me, he's not gonna pass him. Like,
he's gonna pass or he's not gonna pass.
Like you say, you can track the numbers, like how fast he's going and like the distance and whatever he is. Like that's pretty straightforward. Yeah. But I just thought it was funny. It's like it kind of takes the driver's skill out of it almost. It's like you can get right behind him, but doesn't mean he's gonna pass.
Yeah.
It's just I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it is more like just stats if they want to throw in. There is one stat in the NHL, and I don't know if I think they have it for soccer. I don't know if it's like big, but I don't know what it's called in the NHL, where the stat where it's not on like assists or goals, but it's how much possession or how many like good scoring opportunities your team has when a player's on the ice.
Oh, that's kind of like WAR for I don't totally get it either, but for baseball it's called WAR. It's like wins above replacement. So it's basically it's like whenever your player for baseball, I don't know a lot about it, but whenever your player is like playing in the game, it's like how many more wins you get when that player is active.
Yeah,
they had that in baseball. Maybe they have in hockey too. I don't know about hockey.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, no, because it's one of those things like you have a player like Conte, for example. He's not going to get a lot of assists. Maybe he's not going to get a lot of goals, but there is a massive difference in your team when he's on the field and when he's not on the field. So I do want to see, how that comes up in the EPL and where that's at. So WAR measures the players.
I feel like this would actually be a useful stat, especially in soccer, because, like you said, Conte is super key in a team, but he goes unnoticed by most people who wouldn't, understand soccer that much. Yeah. A new player of soccer, it's like, oh, I never see this Conte guy score, but everyone keeps talking about him.
So definition: WAR measures a player's value in all facets of the game by deciphering how many more wins he's worth than a replacement level player at his same position. Example: minor league placement or readily available fill-in free agent. Yeah. So
that would be pretty cool for soccer, for EPL, or for any other league that want to adapt it.
Yeah, that'd be super interesting because it'll give all the CDMs,
all the
glory they deserve.
All the CDMs the glory they deserve.
I was trying to look up see if they have anything kind of like that in the Premier League.
Yeah. I think that set's really useful because it actually lets you see how useful all your players are, regardless of how many actually good scoring chances you get. Because there's a lot of things that go into creating a scoring chance, and a lot of it has a lot of people way further back, making sure things stay intact. podcast, so like maybe them trying to find it here.
Yeah, there's a Reddit post that seems like they might have done something, but I think it's all amateur.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an official like website or anything that put it together.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
for fantasy it'd be great actually.
Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully in the next coming years it's a new stat that comes up and we can all be pumped. And we'll see if it's up there with the momentum tracker and the win percentage.
That's ridiculous. This is way too many numbers in here for me. And figures.
The graph.
So just real quick, obviously we're looking at something that you guys can't see. But we're looking at kind of a comparable thing about wins above replacement between James Ward-Prowse and Riyad Mahrez. I think it's saying that they like it also probably depends on your team, right? Like obviously like it's your team, it's like your value to your specific team. So Ward-Prowse on Southampton is huge.
Yeah.
Because like he's like their talisman in the midfield. He's like their guy.
Yeah.
Mahrez is obviously a world-class player, but he gets mixed in with another bunch of world-class players that kind of can do the similar thing for him. So on this one, they're comparing that Ward-Prowse is more valuable to his team.
And Mahrez is more valuable,
like long-term, like over the season or something. I don't know.
know.
We'll look into this one. We'll look into this later.
I gotta look at this.
We'll get back into the definition for next
time.
Next
I gotta
episode.
analyze that graph and see what it's trying to say.
All in
Yeah.
all, some
We'll get our team on it.
some interesting stats coming to the EPL.
Yeah. I mean, do we want more though, or do we want to just be able to watch the game and not have to worry about like win prob?
I think that war stat would be cool because even if it's not during the game, but it just like tells you, because you always see like this player scored this many goals, this player got this many assists.
It can look very cut and dry if you just look at just the numbers.
Yeah, but like how useful is like Conte in a specific game? Because like people will say
I'll
like,
tell you right now, it's very.
but that's what I mean. Like you always hear Conte say like, oh, he was like excellent that match, and for like the average watcher, like they don't know the value. But if you can now in the NHL, they can put it into numbers. It'd be cool to actually show like, hey, this is how valuable this player was, even though he didn't like get any assists, any goals, or take any shots. He was this valuable to the team, and it's like, oh, it like highlights certain players and what they're doing.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah. I would like that. And I said for like fantasy purposes, that'd be sweet because it's like, let's say you're late in the draft, you need a good player or something. It's like, look at his WAR. It's like, this guy was like sick for his team. It could be like an unheard of player.
Yeah.
It could be a guy that was playing the championship last year. That like his team got promoted. You have nothing about. I don't know anything about Brentford.
Yeah.
Who the hell's Brentford?
Right.
But they could have like 3 studs who are like actually like world class. Not world class, but like world class players for their team that you would never think of.
Yeah.
Throw them in your lineup in the Premier League, and it's like, oh, you can get you 8 points in a game or something or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Exactly. Let's.
What else do you want to hit on here, boys?
Can we just touch on the blonde for a second here?
Oh, Jorginho.
Everyone,
everyone.
Jorginho hasn't. And what I saw, Mahrez, Cancelo,
yeah.
they all had it. Is it a
And
thing? Just at the start?
Xhaka
in the Euros, full blonde.
Charleston had it too for Everton. I don't know, man.
Mendy.
Because I remember I don't remember if it was last year, but I remember several years ago it was a thing again. But it died off. I wonder, is it a kickoff to the season?
Maybe they want
fashion style
they
or
want to show how
whatever it was.
They want to show their presence on the field, I guess, a little bit more or something.
I'm so confused.
The first one I ever saw was Aguero like 10 years ago or something.
The first one, wasn't it Ramsey on Arsenal?
I forget who the first one I saw.
I think it was Ramsey like 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Maybe even longer than that.
I just know like Aguero stood out because he had like the brown hair and he just went like white on top.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's this guy?
What's
he doing?
I just laugh every time I see it because I had that in grade 8 and it was like the silliest thing ever.
I think we all did that at one point.
Well, everyone had the frosted tips.
I was guilty of that.
I had like the full blonde top.
Oh my God, you did.
Unintentionally, I wanted highlights, but it just turned out
just
to be
all
awful.
blonde.
So I was like, well, this
blonde
like,
and then like black on the side.
On the sides are black. I do remember that.
I only had like the front, which was fine, but it looked terrible.
Oh my God,
on my hair.
that's so funny. I remember that.
So we had that, and it's just like it looks silly, and then the fact to see it in the EPL and how it's like actually a thing just makes me laugh because like,
well, they can pull it off though. Like they look sick.
Oh yeah,
they do.
Well, if I didn't have like long trying to have hockey hair, then who knows how. If I would have had like short, maybe a fade, then it might have looked okay.
Yeah.
But no, it's just funny to see because it's just one of those things. I'm not really sure what to make of it.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it means something in like different cultures or something, or like I don't know if it's like just trying to, like I said, like you kind of just make more of a presence on the field for yourself. I have no idea. It's obviously like an ego thing too, right? So look at me, like when I'm like I'm obviously being the flashiest person out here,
Yeah. It's kind of. I mean,
I
think the rise of tattoos is obviously like a way cooler trend than dyeing your hair blonde, like infinitely cooler. Because like I remember back in the day, you never saw soccer players with tattoos.
No.
Then I think David Beckham was probably the one that started it, and I think it's really cool.
I remember Craig Bellamy was like super tatted. You guys remember him? He played for City. He played for a lot of teams.
Oh, I remember.
The little Jax guy.
Yeah.
He kind of like Shaqiri before Shaqiri.
Yeah.
But he was like covered.
I
in
remember
tats.
him.
He was on Liverpool too.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him like in the probably mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
And then like maybe early 2010s.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who the hell is this guy? He's like sick. He looks like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like, he's crazy. But yeah, he was completely tatted up.
Yeah.
And now it's just like the norm.
Yeah. And I think it's like I like tattoos. I mean, if I was a soccer player, I'd definitely have some. But
What's stopping you now?
I don't know. I think I feel like I'm the type of person where like I honestly I want a tattoo. I would get tattoos. The issue is I know I would get it and I would either get bored of it or I would want more, and it's like I don't know where I would stop.
You wouldn't stop.
So and I feel like it's just a thing that's better left to not like open the door on at this point. Because
that's a very conscious decision.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
I'm probably gonna do henna tattoos
that's cool.
just so I can, they'll fade after a while,
Yeah.
and then like,
Start with that and see if you like it, kind of thing.
well, I'm never gonna get real tattoos.
No.
But I can just get henna tattoos and then have them for summer, and then they'll go away, and then if I want them again, I'll get them again.
Or just getting them once. That's a real tattoo.
But then
They have it forever.
that's the whole thing. Then the effect's gonna wear off. It's like anything.
Well, then Santa says you just get more.
Then you get more, and then you're tatted. You're
where
full
do
body
you stop,
tatted.
right? Like there's so many I like. There's so many I see where it's like that would be cool to have, and it's just like,
Yeah.
and I feel like there is. I think one of the bigger issues for me is that there's a lot of situations where I would like it like 80% of the time or like 90% of the time, and maybe there's a 10% of the times where it's like I really wish I didn't have this tattoo right now, even if it's for like a silly reason where it's like, oh, like it doesn't look good with like
My shoes.
or just anything,
Doesn't
like
match my
even something
shoes.
silly where it's like it's like I don't want to just be in a position where it's like I wish I didn't have it, or even for like a serious reason where it's like if because it's weird, like I don't know if I'd want like my nephew to see like a certain tattoo and whatnot, right? Because like I don't want to influence their decision to get it if like maybe their parents don't want them to get one, and knowing that like if I were to get one, they might be more inclined to get one. Like same with like a piercing or something, where it's like if it's touchy for someone, I don't want to influence their kids to get it if they're more inclined to get it if I get it.
It's very mature of you to say that. Very mature thought process.
So
I got mine just because I love them and I've always wanted a couple, so I got mine. But
yeah,
I'm the same boat. I don't want to stop, but it's just with COVID being a thing, I kind of had to stop.
It's
Yeah.
force you to
Or else
stop.
I'd probably have like a full sleeve by now.
Yeah,
If that wasn't the case.
that's, like even you saying get a full sleeve, it's like makes me a little bit jealous because like a part of me really wants a sleeve.
Get a leg sleeve.
What's
Like,
A leg on your like calf.
no,
Like on your-
I don't like that. I
it has
would
to be
rather. I
arms.
don't even know if I would get tattoos on my legs.
No,
Yeah,
For sure.
I've seen more people have them, like just like being around.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a lot of people have like actually leg tattoos, like on the back of the calf, because it's a good like canvas. It's a good spot. It's a big surface area.
yeah. I
And,
guess
like,
like
it's-
just
Yeah.
It
I mean, it
shows-
makes sense why you'd
it
get it there,
shows
but
well. But yeah,
I would love just
Yeah.
chest a little bit going up to the neck on the chest and the full sleeve. Only on the left side.
like The Rock, just like a
Yeah.
big like tribal.
Yeah.
Right across the chest.
Yes, The Rock. Come
Dwayne
slightly
Johnson.
far away from them.
That is the
Johnson.
only
That
thing
image.
missing from Joe's flocking at a quarantine thing, just a sleeve. Oh,
Yeah, Joe's gonna like hit the clubs after and just be like completely tatted up. Like, who's this guy? What
Yeah,
happened to you?
I feel like Bernadeschi on Italy.
Yeah. Oh my god, I don't like his tattoos.
No,
No.
well, they are like very like.
Very dark.
If I were to get them, I would go with Beckham style.
Yeah.
Very, it looks like almost stencil style. I wouldn't go where it's like it's just
Very-
really black covering your whole arm. Like,
there's a lot of black on his.
yeah.
I mean, that looks pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
He's completely.
Oh, that's his back there. Yeah, he's got.
I mean, that looks pretty sick.
I don't think that's his.
No?
I don't. Oh, maybe it is. Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Ramos there. Like, yeah, Ramos is pretty tatted up as well. And that's the thing, though. Like, even if you get to the place where you have a full sleeve and it's just like, I don't like it anymore. It's like, what do you do? Like, you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
wish I... It's one of those things where it's one of those things you really don't want to regret having, because, like, what do you do? Then you're stuck with this massive sleeve for the rest of your life, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I remember Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, like he had.
Yeah.
Like he's got both now, I think, and he's got like his thumb on his neck or something, which is a little aggressive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go neck tattoo. That's a
I would
little,
go net
That's a little scary. But yeah, he's like one of the first guys I remember seeing like way back.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this guy looks sick.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I will probably never get one.
Never say never, Santo. You're 30 years
Well,
old.
Probably never. But
I'll never get a real one. That's for sure.
You saying that now?
Probably, I
Setting
think
it in stone.
there's a 60 or 75% chance I'll get a henna tattoo at some point. I would say.
Do those come colored, or are they always like that?
I
that
really
brown-
don't know much about them,
think
to be
they're
honest.
brown
I keep saying I'm going to get one. I have no idea what's involved in getting one.
I keep saying we got a Ferrari.
I have no idea. It could be, to get a sleeve for a henna tattoo could be like a 7-hour process. I have no idea.
7-hour non-permanent painful process.
Yeah.
They get to go do it again in like 6 weeks.
Yeah. I know.
yeah.
All right, if you guys want to wrap this one up, we can go over some predictions real quick. Just what we think is going to happen throughout the rest of the EPL season. Go on the table here. Champion. Joe, who do you got?
Going Chelsea.
So I like to hear.
Well, because he, Tuchel, that's how you pronounce his name.
I think just Tuchel.
Tuchel.
Yeah.
Um,
Tuchel.
I mean, he has Guardiola's number, and I don't really see anyone else being close to those two. Maybe United if they stay consistent, but that's a question mark.
Yeah.
So I'm going Chelsea. I would say, especially if they get Lukaku.
Well, he is. He's official.
It's official now?
Yeah,
okay.
he's in there.
Then,
He could have played. He technically could have played yesterday,
okay.
but I think he just flew in like Friday and like signed all the paperwork. So
Oh, it's
he
all
hasn't
done.
had any training sessions yet.
Okay.
So their next match, I don't know if they play midweek or they actually do play next weekend. He should be like fit to play.
Okay. Chelsea. For sure.
I'm still probably gonna go with City. And I feel like it's because I had this same feeling last year. It's like it's almost the opposite, where like you have a lot of pretty promising teams start well. And it's like, oh, is this year? And City somehow they always not always start, but they have some of these starts where it's like they just play bad and they lose, and it's like, oh, is this where City like falls apart? And it's just, I think it's a combination of their bench and just Pep being the coach that he is. That when other teams start playing in other competitions, City has the only team where they can have the bench they had today, where it's basically their starting 11 on any other day and still get results. So I think they're the only team that for the long haul, they're going to get the results to end up winning. I just really hope for Pep that they win Champions League, because it's killing me not to see him win.
I do want City to win Champions League, not going to lie.
I just want Pep to win Champions League. He's been trying for forever.
I don't know if PSG will actually do it this year, but I do want City to win Champions
Yeah, the
League.
guys that they signed, they're locked up for at least a couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
So even
It
if
might
they
be
do-
tough to gel this year to go that
Yeah,
far in
yeah.
that kind of competition.
You're
But
bringing a lot of egos, a lot of talent,
yeah.
all at the same time. Like it's gonna be a big transition year for them.
Yeah.
Man, I thought about this for a while, and like,
You're going Chelsea.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, I feel like the homer of the
How many times
of
did
the
they
show
beat City
here,
last
but-
year? 3 times?
3 times, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the homer of the show to say that, but I mean, just based on the progression that I've seen them make under Tuchel,
Yeah.
Like obviously seeing Lampard go last year was like pretty tough to see because obviously I thought he was going to be like the next guy to set us over. Like all the stars aligned when Lampard got announced as the new manager.
Yeah.
And it just didn't pan out obviously, and some impatient maybe board members and people higher up on the in management there like got rid of him, but when they brought Tuchel in, you could see a drastic change in how they played.
Yeah.
Whether it just be formations and like the team that he chose day in, day out, and capping it off with making the FA Cup final against Leicester and winning the Champions League. Like you can't really see them going down from that.
Yeah.
Like with them adding Lukaku to the squad, that's kind of like the missing piece that they were having last year. Like from a striker standpoint, you guys heard me talk a million times about Werner last year and how he just drove me absolutely wild. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he had a lot of pressure on him. Like coming in from Leipzig, he was like supposed to be like just like get 30 goals for us right now. That's what we expect of you.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't happen. So I think bringing Lukaku in is going to take some pressure off his back.
Yeah.
He might go into more of like a winger's role.
Yeah.
Or like they might play 3 up top and have like, him as a wing and Havertz or Mount as a wing or something, and like Lukaku just be like a centralized striker. And I think he's going to be able to feed off him. They're healthy this year. Conte's still a beast in the middle.
Yeah.
Their defense is unchanged from last year. And I don't think they're gonna falter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it can come down to like the last couple weeks of this season between them and City.
Yeah.
And I think it could just be a coin toss at the end of the whole thing who you're gonna pick. So, I mean, I'm gonna go with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Bring them back to the glory days of Mourinho and Conte from a couple years ago.
Yeah, we'll see.
Surprise clubs, positive and negative. Who do you think is going to be a surprise club at the top of the?
Well, I said already
table this
Tottenham with Nuno because Mourinho last year, but he's notorious for we'll get you a good start and then all the players hate you after a while and things go downhill.
Yeah.
But no, I think Tottenham could be surprisingly more consistent than usual. That could be one.
Yeah.
And I think negative, I think Wolves might struggle without Nuno.
Yeah. I can see that happening too.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I probably for negative, I mean, it's probably not a surprise, but I don't have a good feeling about Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, they've just struggled a lot, and I don't think that they have anyone that's really going to be able to, like, give them any positive results. I think they're just, like, in a heavy rebuilding stage. I do like where they're going with coaching. But we'll see. I feel for them as a club because they're such a big club, and it just kind of sucks from their perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Arteta's in a tough spot because he has like the pressure from like a massive fan base.
Yeah,
and they still see themselves as like a top 4 club when they're not,
and that's
the issue with Arsenal for such a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's again, like, I'm obviously a Chelsea fan, so like Arsenal can stick it, but it is sad to see them not be there at the top of the table week in, week out.
Yeah,
it's like in comparison to like basketball, it's like the New York Knicks or like the Toronto Maple Leafs make the league better when they're playing well.
Yeah,
like, so Arsenal makes the league better when they're playing good and when they're there, and we haven't seen them there in a long time.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna say that they're gonna be like the negative team this year, because I think, like what Joe said earlier, I think they're gonna be kind of still around like where they finished last year.
Yeah,
like I could see them going like 6th or 7th, maybe getting a couple more spots up the table, but I don't see them going Europa League this year.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that would be a slight positive for them in comparison to last year.
Yeah.
My surprise club though would probably be Tottenham. Even like I know we talked about Harry Kane being the X factor, if he stays or doesn't stay, but hopefully maybe Son can like take the next leap forward and be like their guy, because he's amazing.
Yeah,
like anybody would love to have him on their team.
Yeah.
Like I could see Tottenham challenging for a top 4 spot.
Yeah,
maybe getting like last spot in the Champions League there.
Yeah. And plus, once they sell Kane,
They'll have money.
They'll have money for the.
But Tottenham doesn't do that. They don't splash.
I mean, they will be. They will be able to buy at least like one good player in the January transfer window.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Depending on how they're doing, I guess like they have to look at that situation too. Like if they do sell Kane and they're like 13th, they shouldn't be buying anybody. Like they should be buying a huge player if they're like 5th. Or something. Like if they drop dramatically, if they drop a lot because they do sell Kane and they're not performing well, then they have to like take a step back and say, okay, maybe Nuno can help build the team a little bit more, try and finish in a decent spot. But I don't think they should be making any big expenditures in January if they're not in position to do so.
Yeah.
So I think that could just hurt the team.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Top goal scorer, Joseph?
Well, I said if Kane goes to City, he'll probably be top goal scorer. But if he goes somewhere else, then it'll probably be Lukaku at Chelsea.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with Joe. I mean, the fact that City spends so much time in an opponent's final third, and Kane is Kane. I think he's going to have a lot more scoring chances than he even had at Tottenham. So as long as he can still finish, I think he's going to finish in the top for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to say Kane as well, regardless of where he goes.
Yeah.
If he stays at Spurs and he gets a lot of playing time, or if he even goes to City, I think he's just like a generational talent that we haven't seen from the English players that often. Like how many times do we see like an English striker taking off? Like obviously Rooney is probably the last one.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kane can just contribute in so many different ways. And I don't think like Lukaku's going to have like a transition period coming from Inter to the EPL because he has spent so much time here. But I think he still might take a little bit to get his feet wet with the squad.
Yeah.
When Kane is just, you can slot him into any position and he can play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I honestly do hope that Kane goes to City.
I don't, because I don't want to see super teams get formed. Like, that team's ridiculous already.
Well,
they don't need Harry Kane.
I love there's a part of me that loves the domination. I think it's why I like Lewis Hamilton a lot. Just because I think it's really hard to have a team with all that talent and perform well, and to just keep that. No, because like you said, you have a lot of big talent, and the fact that they play as a team so well gives more props to Pep. And the fact that you have all these players that stay on the team every season, even though they're not, playing 90 minutes every single game. You have look at City's bench today, and like you have all those players that would be a starting 11 any other game, right?
Jesus.
So I just love the buy-in from a bunch of like top players all playing for the team, and like understanding that they're not playing every game, whether it's Champions League and EPL. Like it's a rotation thing, and I think it shows like a lot of, I guess, cohesiveness and just like commitment to the club, and knowing what they're about, to be like, all right, we're a team and we're in like a rotation to win as many trophies as possible. So like we're not playing every single game, and it kind of like puts our egos aside and puts the team first.
So
you're what I like.
So you're a huge fan of ancient Rome then?
Of ancient Rome?
Yeah. And just like total domination.
Well, no, but they were like taking over countries.
You want European domination at any cost.
Different situation.
Do what you have to do. Get every possible best situation and just go destroy all of Europe.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Well, we don't understand how City, loses some games.
Yeah.
Which obviously anyone could win at any time, but I'm surprised they're not more consistent than they are. Even so, in the how many games did they lose last year?
Not many.
But I think it was like 4 or 5.
4, yeah.
And they tied.
Maybe under 5.
And I think they tied how many, 6?
Yeah, something like that. I don't
exactly or whatever. I can't remember what it was.
Well, I was thinking about it today, where it's like, as good as City are, they still need De Bruyne.
Yeah, which is interesting.
They were like after, I guess, 20-minute mark, when Tottenham started settling into the game, like they needed someone. De Bruyne comes on, they start creating all these chances, right? So it is hard for me to understand as well why they're so good and yet you still like there's still a player like De Bruyne that is, like it feels like you need him on the field to create chances. Like how are they not creating chances all the time? But obviously it's easier said than done when you're playing against a top team.
Yeah, well, the key thing that they're missing is exactly what they're trying to find in Harry Kane. It's just a pure striker.
Yeah,
which are hard to come by, like world-class strikers for world-class teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because those teams that are world-class already have their established striker.
Yeah.
So if they do sign Kane up, sorry, not sign Kane, but if they do transfer for Kane or purchase Kane, they're going to really, solidify themselves as the top club. Look at their top goal scorer last year, Gundogan, 13 goals.
Yeah, which is interesting. And that's maybe. So that's why I do.
They score by committee.
Yeah. Which is. So I think maybe that's what they're missing. Yeah. Good. Because Aguero wasn't on form, obviously.
He was injured and had COVID and everything too.
Yeah. So they do. And I just checked 5 losses, 6 draws.
5 and 6.
Whatever it is.
Which is like nuts to say. Like we're complaining about them not being like a complete team because they're missing one thing, and they only lost 5 times last year.
Yeah.
But that's a team like them should have they should have an Aguero level, like a 2017 or whatever it is, Aguero level striker on their team to win all the trophies. They do need that. Like they have Jesus, who's obviously really good, but you can't win Champions League, the EPL, and the FA Cup, and all these competitions with one good striker.
No. I mean, you go down the list here for goal scorers for last season, and they got, I think 5 or 6 players in the top 30.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, Gundogan's their highest goal scorer with only 13, and then the next they have is Sterling with 10. But then they have like 3 other players that have 9, 9, 9. So like they do score in bunches, and they do score and contribute in other ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, like these guys right here, like Foden, Gabriel Jesus got 9. Mara's got 9, like I said. Sterling 10. These guys down here, like Foden and Jesus had breakout. Well, Foden had a breakout season, for sure. Like he was huge. And he's kind of in and out of the squad. People were saying he could have been like the player of the year last year, or potential this year to be player of the year.
Yeah.
Which like I don't totally agree with that, but I'm just saying his contribution and Foden's contribution, you can list that as like an 18 goal scorer, which is like Bruno Fernandes, who had just a fairy tale debut season for United last year.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like it can happen. Like you can obviously contribute in other ways, because if Tottenham didn't have Kane or Son, they're in the same boat where they're just not going to score.
Yeah.
Like Bale had a bit of a resurgence last year coming in there too and getting 11, but after that you got to go way down the list to find their 4th highest goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going down. Like I'm in the pit here. Lucas Moura had 3. So I mean, yeah, it just goes to show like what a world-class striker can do for your squad. Yeah. And if Kane does go to City, I think it's going to be just the apocalypse when it comes to the EPL for the next 4 seasons.
Well, that's
or
what
whatever
they need.
It is, because it's like they just can't. Like they have no flaw.
Yeah.
They have no flaw on their team.
And because right now that position is a flaw for them.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of backlash against Mendy today.
Well, I mean, even with Mendy too, they have other players that can play there.
Yeah. I mean, Zinchenko. I mean, he's obviously really solid.
Was he there today? Is he?
Yeah, he came out as a sub.
Oh, did he?
For Mendy.
Yeah.
I feel like he starts more than he doesn't though. Zinchenko,
which is interesting because he's actually really good, which surprises me.
Well,
he's pretty consistent. Like he's fairly consistent.
Ukraine had a decent run in the Euro. Maybe they give him a break.
Yeah.
Like not everybody played that came back right from the Euro.
Yeah.
Still. There's still some players that took this week off for whatever reason, whether that be fitness or health, or they didn't get full training, and because it only finished like 4 weeks ago, or maybe 5. So you have some celebration time with your friends and family, go back to your respective country, and then before you know it, you're back at your training ground, right? So maybe some guys just put on a couple extra pounds or had a few more drinks than they probably planned on having.
Yeah.
And they weren't match fit yet, but I'm sure next week will be a good test. I mean, the week 1, everyone's on pins and needles. Everyone's adrenaline is going through the roof. So that's why you have results like a 5-1 victory over Leeds for United, which I don't think justifies how good United might be or how bad Leeds might be. You know, that game could have been a lot tighter.
Yeah.
If you were to look at that next matchup in the mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it was the first week with like full fans back in the stadium.
Yeah.
For every club out there, so that was obviously huge and momentum boosting.
Yeah.
But I feel like, give it a couple weeks, let everyone settle into the positions. We'll start to see the table shuffle a little bit, and then by the first international break, whenever that is, probably mid-September or October, we'll really see like where the table's going to pan out and where the pretenders are and where the namestays are going to stay there for the rest of the season are.
Yeah, I mean, City didn't look too great until December of last season, right? And
then they just skyrocketed.
They just won like.
It was honestly a tale of two seasons last year. Obviously, COVID was huge for the first half and the second half, but it was like Liverpool seemed to have it again. And then as soon as they got hit with injuries and like Van Dijk went down and then Gomez went down and they had no defenders left on the team.
Yeah.
Like, they had Henderson playing defense almost the entire season.
Yeah.
The second half of the season.
Yeah.
And as soon as they hit that decline, City just took their opportunity and just skyrocketed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think City is because, City have Laporte, Diaz, Stones, and Ake, and they also have Fernandinho who can play center back. So if Diaz or Stones were to get injured, it would be a hit. But they have still solid players that they can put back there, which I think will sustain them to still get results. It won't be like Liverpool. All right, someone gets hurt and you just like skydive downward.
Yeah, they had a huge decline.
Yeah, they are very. Van Dijk is very key.
Yeah.
he's very key for that team. Like you said, if Diaz got he's obviously he got player of the season last year for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he gets injured, you can play Laporte and Stones and be pretty good. Van Dijk
Stones
gets injured, it's like a gaping hole that's crazy hard to fill.
Them signing Nathan Ake was such a weird signing for them. I think
he
played today. He played today.
Yeah, I was like, I would never have thought City would sign Ake. It's like didn't seem like a player they would sign or like why they want to sign him. I mean, he was solid for Bournemouth. It was weird. It's like,
I mean, he's young, right?
Yeah, he's under 25.
Interesting. Well, because I know Diaz, 23.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously, getting players for the future, I would assume.
Oh, he's 26. So he's 26.
Interesting.
I thought he was around 25.
Yeah, it didn't strike me as someone they were looking to sign.
Do you know where Nathan Ake was before Bournemouth?
I think Chelsea, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He was at Chelsea.
He's going to turn to City's next star, and this is going to be another player Chelsea had.
I know.
Pretty soon. No, I know that's my biggest gripe about Chelsea. Not knowing
you
when
texted me.
Not knowing when to
buying
sign.
Lukaku for $100 million plus someone.
They got to have a team somewhere floating around the internet of like all the players Chelsea had.
I don't want to see that.
You could have De Bruyne, you could have Salah, Lukaku.
Remember I told you I can mute your mic on this?
Yeah. Yeah, let's pull up that team right now.
That'll be another episode. We'll do that. All right, that was probably a good hour and a half, almost hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I think so.
Just around there.
All right, so
as long as a footy match.
Yeah, we'll catch it all later on. All right, if we're good, we're gonna wrap it up here on the first episode of Footy Fan Podcast. Thanks guys for joining us, and always like and subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at Footy Fan Podcast. That's Footy PHAN Podcast. As always, enjoy the beautiful game, and we'll catch up after all next week's action.